So the rapture didn't happen. And the lady who just got out of my car chose violence. We're driving down the road and she says, do you know why I had to use Uber this morning? And I said, no, why? And she said, I sold my car for the rapture. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And she said, should have known that would be your answer. And I was like, pardon? And she said, you don't love the Lord, do you? Ma'am. What? I said, yeah, I love the Lord a lot. She said, did you think the rapture was going to happen? And I said, honestly, no. And she said, yeah, so you're not a real Christian. Okay. Y'all, I try to be so nice. But today, no, not today. You can give me a 1-star. I said, can you please explain to me what you think the difference is between real Christians and fake Christians? And she said, well, obviously the people who were actually prepared for the rapture and believed that God was coming back for his bride are the ones. And I said, and what about the ones of us who just are ready for whenever the Lord decides to call us home, so we don't have to play into the panic that everyone sets forward of a possible rapture date that a man in South Africa had a dream about? She goes, I said, ma'am, I have been a Christian for the majority of my life. And while I do know that there are many scriptures that point to an event of Jesus returning and taking his followers with him, it also says that if/when that happens, man will not know the day nor the hour. So what made you think that a guy in South Africa was going to have a dream that it was going to happen on one of 2 days and we were suddenly going to be called up to glory? And she said, you seem to be getting really defensive. And I said, you called me a fake Christian. So yeah, I'll get defensive about who I am. First off, you want to go around calling people real Christians and fake Christians? How about you leave that up to Jesus? Because he's the person we're actually having the relationship with and determining whether or not we are actually a Christian, if we have actually accepted him into our heart. And what he did not tell me to do was to go around picking out the fake Christians and the real Christians. In fact, what he told me was, judge not lest ye be judged. So then she says, well, that was just a test. A test for what? She said, to make sure that those of us that he was going to call home are actually ready when the day appears. I said, sweetheart, that's the way you're supposed to live your life every day. You're supposed to live every single day as if heaven is your home. You're supposed to live every single day as if the relationship that you have with the creator of the universe is what is fueling everything you do and everything you say. This earth is not my home. Heaven is my home. The way that I show up and the way that I treat people every single day is testament to the relationship that I have with God. And the one thing that my Jesus never told me to do was to get into a random person's car and try to make them feel less than.